So having gotten nowhere with this Uniboard so far, I'm going to put it on the back burner, and the next approach I'll try will be sticking a emulator for the ROM in there, where I can download small debug programs into a RAM and have it run from that. But that's a little bit down the track, and to do that I want a working system to test the emulator on, and so I've got another 6809 base computer like this that I'll be using to do that testing of the emulator. And that thing is a Tandy Colour Computer. Now, obviously it's been in storage for a long time, collected a lot of dust, the box has copped some water damage, but let's take it out and see if it works. So I've brushed off the loose dust. Obviously things need to wash. Looks like there's been some trauma there. Missing button. EMI shield's loose, the top's loose. Don't know what that gap is. I've got a couple of manuals, pamphlets. I've got a proper set of manuals for this thing somewhere as well too. It's more crap to get rid of, and I did notice inside here somewhere is the key top somewhere. Take out the keyboard. There's a missing key top. More or less complete by the look of it. Not sure where this goes. Maybe it lives in there. Yeah. Alright, I'll brush this down in the keyboard and then have another closer look. Alright, so I've brushed off a lot of the crap. I think I'll have to remove that transformer so I can give this base a bit of a wash. Just a couple of screws holding that down, so pretty straightforward. Brush the dust off this thing now. A couple of things jump out at me. Plus 5 volt test point has got a wire soldered to it. There's a resistor there that's been lifted, and a piece of wire soldered in where the other end of it used to go. And then there's this wire floating around doing nothing. So, and some mods on the back held down by wax. And maybe that's a mod I did, I don't remember anything about it. And there's another mod there too. So I might just have a look at the schematics for this thing and see if these, where that connects, what that resistor does, why that might have been lifted and joined over there. That could be a factory mod, I don't know. I don't remember it. This looks like something I would have done. And that, and probably this wire too. That black wire there might be a factory mod. Yeah, so I'll look into that before I apply power to it. The broken button is, yes, it does seem to be broken. The black in the centre there should be attached to this black inside of this key. So yeah, you have to find some way of repairing that. But at least I've got the key still. So if the power's going to go off any time, I've got a scheduled maintenance going on somewhere in the street, and somewhere between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock the power's going to go off. And it's already nearly 11 and it hasn't gone off yet. But as soon as I fire up the schematics, it'll probably the power go off just when I'm trying to use a computer. Bugger! I should have printed that off first. I'll try and do that before the power cuts out. Back soon. So I've given it a wash with warm soapy water, and then rubbed down with isopropyl alcohol. There's some scuffing and marks and things that aren't coming off easily. Some scratches, almost like it's been melted by something. But yes, so there's a few marks that won't come off, but pretty clean now. The transformer is soldered to the mains cable, so I just had to hold that like that as I washed it. And so that's reasonably clean too now. and on here there were these things, and I recognise them. These are screw-on feet for enclosures that I've had lying around in my odds and ends collection for years, and I've obviously taken 3 of them and drilled them out so they fit over these posts, and that vaguely rings a bell that I was using it to support a circuit board, I think, up at that level, either, or perhaps at that level, but probably up here. These were spaced away from the main board for some purpose. I can't think what the hell that was, but it rings a bell that I put them there to allow another circuit board in there. There's plenty of room inside the case. There's another, well, there's that height there, plus the height of these posts, so at least an inch. Not sure what that was about though, but I suspect maybe that's what this loose wire here is about. Anyway, what else have I done? Yes, I managed to get the black part of the button out of there, black jigger there, so hopefully I can reattach that to the button and get this working again. Still got to clean this up a bit. Now I had a dig around in the archives, and as well as this bit of documentation that came with it, these are just quick reference cards, as well as those that were in the box with the computer, I found this lot. So another quick reference card, operation manual with important note. Okay, let's see if there's anything relevant in there. And let's see, I've got the disk interface, and that rings a bell too. I'm sure I ran OS 9 on this thing at one stage. Memory, it's a wonderful thing if it works. Going ahead with Extended Colour Basic. Before that you'd want to read Getting Started with Colour Basic. Getting started, it looks like I've got 2 of those. Operation manual, technical reference manual, service manual. So a pretty complete set of documentation, I would think. So let's have a look at the board. Now I printed off the schematic as well, and this resistor that's been lifted is up here on the output of the video generator just before it goes into the modulator, and this goes from the video output to ground, and that's the grounded end there. So obviously I wanted to look at the video output on this bit of wire here. Not sure why. This here is on the circuit diagram, so it's a factory bodge from the H sync signal of the video generator through to one of the port pins on the parallel interface adapter. But that's not my doing. This is though, and it goes through the back to address line 4, A4. Don't know why, and I'm not sure where it went. Does it go to, supposed to go somewhere on this board, or is it something to do with the possibility of another board sitting on top, coming up to that? Really don't know. So I might give this a bit more of a clean with isopropyl alcohol and power it on, see what happens. A couple of things I haven't mentioned. This is a Colour Computer 2. That's the model, because there's a few variations of Colour Computer 3, and I guess there was a Colour Computer 1 as well. And one other thing I didn't note was this other bodge wire here runs from the cartridge connector, or expansion connector, pin 2, across to -5 volts. So I don't know if that was my doing or an original factory bodge. I do remember upgrading the memory from 16K to 64K. So these are all 4164s, replacing 4116s, and you just replace the chips and move these 3 jumpers here and this jumper here, and away you go. And I remember that worked. It does have a -5 volt supply that was needed by the old chips. There's a -5 volt regulator over here, and I think that one's +12. This transistor here, D313, is that a 2SD313? It's a transistor rather than a regulator. Yeah, 2SD313. So yeah, that's some sort of switching regulator arrangement for the +5 volts. Everything's looking pretty good. It's cleaned. Just move these wires out of the way. I'll tape this one up, put it back in, stick some power in and see what happens on a television. Now, unlike the Uniboard, the Coco doesn't output composite video. It goes through a modulator which turns it into radio frequency, so it has to go into the aerial input of the television. Now, the output of the modulator is an RCA, like that, but the aerial input is a PAL or Belling-Lee plug, which is similar but different. Somewhere I do have a cable that connects from RCA to Belling-Lee, but I cannot find one. But then I remembered I might have a adapter, and I do, that takes RCA in one side and Belling-Lee in the other. Alright, there we go. Needed 2 adapters. Need 2 cables and 2 adapters. And this business here with the resistor that's been lifted, that's where the video, that's the composite video there. I was probably trying to look at using that, avoiding the modulator, which will introduce some distortion, of course, and then the tuner inside the television that has to demodulate will also introduce some distortion. So why not bypass both of them and feed the composite video straight into the television like the Uniboard did? Well, that can be done. Trouble is, you lose the sound. If the sound is modulated, goes into the modulator like it does on this, then you can also get sound out of your television from your computer. But maybe there's another way around that. I'll look at that in the future. Let's just see if this thing works using this switch that selects which frequency the modulator transmits on, channel 1 or channel 2. So it won't just pop up on the screen. I'll have to tune the television to whatever channel this thing's spitting out on. So that could be interesting as well. Okay, we're going to turn on the Coco for the first time in many years. Look out for smoke and explosions. I do have a manual for this television somewhere, but I'm not going to read it unless I have to. I have a quick and dirty backup plan. Just use an RCA connector going to the composite video input of this, and just join it onto the composite video that goes into the modulator, avoiding all this TV channel tuning nonsense. And oh, there's something going on there, but no text. That's different. Not reacting to the keyboard though. And this little guy's producing the same thing. No text. So back to trying to work out what's wrong with this thing. I was wondering if perhaps that this wire which connects to address line 4 on the ROM there might be some sort of repair. Maybe it was meant to connect to something around here because of a broken trace. But I buzzed it out with the multimeter. It does connect to address 4, which is pin 4 on that, and then that connects to the appropriate pin on the ROM, on the CPU, on the expansion connector, and on this chip, which is all the places it has to go. So this wire is not needed, it's not a repair, so I'll desolder that next time I get near a soldering iron. A couple other bodges around the place, factory bodge, I didn't notice that one there, which seems to contradict the circuit. This is to do with the serial port. It's going from pin 2 on jack 3 to, it looks like ground, or maybe it's 5 volts, maybe 5 volts, but pin 2 is just supposed to go to resistor. I won't bother digging into that any further. It's obviously some factory mod, so I assume it's how it should be. There's even here a couple of diodes, and one of them is immersed in this huge blob of solder. But as I say, that's just to do with around here on the serial port, and it can't be causing the thing not to work. Anything else obvious? All the electrodes look good, and I've checked the power supplies, all them are spot on. I did notice, see there, this chip has obviously been soldered since it was made. All the rest of the flux is gone, but there's flux on there. 74LS138, this guy, which provides a number of chip select signals to there, to the expansion connector, to enable pins on the ROM, and this, I think it's a transceiver, controlling the direction of that transceiver. So yeah, that's worth having a look at. It's curious that there's the major chips, most of the major chips except for that and that, are socketed, and even a couple of the minor socket, and even a couple of the minor chips like these two have sockets, but not the ROM, which is the sort of thing you really would need a socket on. You know, what if you want to upgrade the firmware? What if they find a bug in this firmware and have to put in revision 1.21 on a million Cocos? It's going to be quite hard if they didn't have a socket there. Seems a bit crazy, and I do want to take that out and put it in a socket so that I can play with different versions. But that's further down the track. First I want to make sure that get this thing working as it sits. Damn disappointing, this thing just didn't work out of the box, because as I remember, it worked. And while doing a bit of research, I realised that I had been making the invalid assumption that the voltage at this point here going into the modulator was normal television type composite video signal, but it's not. It's probably TTL. I haven't put the crow on it yet, but I think it's driven by a comparator chip there, which is powered from 5 volts. Anyway, I've knocked up one of these dead bug level shifter amplifier thingies, just 2 transistors floating around on the web, a few circuits around. This one says it's for the Coco 2. Let's try it. I'll just try it on the black and white television first. So get him warmed up. That strobing you see there is only because of the camera. It's not visible directly. Okay, power on. I've got the level turned right down on that at the moment, so shouldn't expect anything at first. But as I wind this up, nothing happens. Isn't that wonderful? I haven't got the keyboard connected, but that shouldn't matter. It's trying to scan as long as you're not pressing any keys. There's no connections to be made anyway. I have to check my wiring, I guess. Ah, I should plug that into there. How's that, dickhead? Didn't make much difference there, did it? Right, I think that RCA cable was dodgy. I just used this one, and I'm getting something. I'm getting exactly what I did when I connected it directly to there. So, unless I have actually connected it directly to there, but no, it's going through this pot and through the transistors. But yeah, just the same stuff as before. Everything like it's reset. So something's dodgy. What else was I? While I was in there, I took out this bit of wire that was running off address line 4. Didn't go anywhere. I did try reseating all the socketed chips. Curiously, this one here, the MC1372, when I put it back in, I saw, hang on, I'm out by one position. But then I looked and saw, no, hang on, it's a 14 pin chip, but there's a 16 pin socket there, so it could go in either of two positions. I tried it in the other one and it was worse. It didn't produce this at all. So back to where I think it must have been, and I get this. But it's curious that they've got a, I believe it's a factory socket, 16 pin in fact, and it's, if you look at in the manual, the service manual, it's got PCB overlays. There is a 16 pin footprint there. Not sure what that's about, but okay. This might have to also, along with my Uniboard 6809 computer, go on the back burner for a bit, because there's something else I want to do a bit more urgently, and I'll return to these when I get around to it. I'll try and, actually, I might try and get another Coco. Be good to have something to compare with, something to swap chips with, but for the moment, that's all folks. Catch you later.